At exactly 2:17 a.m., the ship's cameras showed me walking down Deck 7. The problem is, I was asleep in my cabin. This is a true horror story meant to help you fall asleep, but it probably won't. I was working night security on a cruise ship crossing the Atlantic. 7 nights, no ports, no land, just water in every direction. The ship was old, older than most passengers realized. It had been renovated too many times, corridors that didn't quite line up, doors that led to spaces no one used anymore. Deck 7 was one of those places. Officially, it was restricted after midnight due to maintenance. Unofficially, everyone avoided it because the cameras there never worked properly. Faces blurred, timestamps jumped. Sometimes the feed froze for seconds at a time. My shift started at 11:12 p.m. By 2 a.m., most of the ship was asleep. That's when I noticed movement. On camera 7C, a figure walking slowly down the corridor, barefoot, hands hanging loosely at its sides. I leaned closer to the screen. The posture was familiar, the way the shoulders slouched, the slight limp in the right leg. I checked the timestamp again. 2:17 a.m. I checked my watch. 2:17 a.m. Then I realized why my stomach dropped. The person on the screen was wearing my uniform. Same jacket, same security patch, same name tag, my name tag. I laughed quietly to myself. A stress reaction, the kind you get when you've been awake too long. I pulled up the cabin log and checked my badge activity. No movement, no door access, no elevator use. I was still logged in as being inside my cabin, asleep. I switched cameras. Camera 7D. The figure stopped walking. It turned its head, not toward the camera, toward the exact spot where I was sitting in the control room. The feed glitched. Static tore across the screen for half a second. When it cleared, the corridor was empty. I didn't report it. Night shifts teach you something quickly. If you report everything strange, you won't keep your job. Around 3 a.m., I went for my scheduled break. The hallway outside my cabin felt colder than usual. The lights hummed softly above me. When I opened the door, something was wrong. The bed was unmade, not messy, just disturbed. The blanket was folded back on one side, like someone had stood up recently. I stood completely still. I knew I hadn't left. I checked the bathroom. Empty. Closet. Empty. No signs of forced entry. But when I sat down on the bed, I noticed the pillow was warm. I didn't sleep after that. At 3:41 a.m., the control room called my radio. "Can you confirm your location?" I told them I was in my cabin. There was a pause. Then, "That's impossible." They switched my monitor to the main screen. Deck 7, camera 7C again. The figure was back, standing closer to the camera this time, closer than before. It lifted its head slowly. The face was wrong, not distorted, unfinished, like someone had tried to remember my face from memory and failed. The mouth opened. The feed cut out before any sound came through. The control room went silent. No alarms, no calls, just the low hum of the ship. At 4:00 a.m., I heard footsteps outside my cabin, slow, measured, stopping right in front of my door. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. The handle turned, just enough to test it. Then a knock, soft, polite. 3 taps. A voice followed. My voice. Security check. I stayed perfectly still. Minutes passed. Eventually, the footsteps walked away. At 6 a.m., the ship docked. Passengers disembarked. Crew changed shifts. I filed my resignation that morning. No explanation. No questions asked. As I was leaving, I passed Deck 7, one last time. The corridor was sealed off now. Metal doors welded shut. A maintenance worker stood nearby. I asked him when they closed it. He frowned. closed it, he said. Deck 7's been sealed for years. I didn't look back. That night, at home, I checked my phone before going to bed. There was a notification, a security alert, from a ship I no longer worked on. Timestamp, 2:17 a.m. Attached was a still image. Deck 7. The corridor empty, except for a reflection in the camera glass. Someone standing behind the lens, wearing my face, watching, waiting. If you want to hear more stories like this, you already know what to do.